Leo, I need you to hear this loud and clear. A massive sum of money is heading your way, and it's not just going to fill your bank account. It's going to change how you see yourself. It's going to shift the very ground you walk on. You didn't stumble onto this video by chance. That's not how this works. Especially not on a day like October 21st, when the Sun, your ruling planet, is lining up in a rare, empowering trine with Saturn. That kind of alignment doesn't just hand out rewards to anybody. It shows up to acknowledge people who've done the inner work. People who've stayed soft when life hardened around them. People like you. This isn't a clickbait video promising lottery wins. It's a message. One that's been trying to reach you for weeks, maybe months. Because deep down, I know you've been asking the big questions. When will things finally shift? Why do I give so much and still feel behind? Why do I feel like I've been living paycheck to paycheck, not just financially, but emotionally? Leo, you've been giving from a deep well of generosity, of strength, of spirit, and for far too long, the world hasn't seen the real cost of your quiet sacrifices. You've carried burdens with your chin up. You've celebrated others when you were barely getting by. And the truth is, all of that was noticed. Not by banks. Not by credit scores. But by something higher. Something that doesn't just calculate dollars, but tracks energy, intention, and integrity. And now, that divine system is balancing out the books. The Ace of Pentacles is rising for you, a tarot card that doesn't promise quick luck, but lasting opportunity. And when it appears alongside the star, like it does today, it's not just about money. It's about purpose being funded. It's about a door opening into a life where you finally get to stop surviving and start building. Some of you might already feel it in your gut, that odd calmness when you think about your finances, as if something big is coming and you can't explain why. That's not imagination. That's your energy shifting ahead of reality. That's your soul catching up to your physical timeline. This unexpected money? It's not charity. It's back pay. Energetic compensation for spiritual labor the world ignored. So let me ask you this. What would it mean to no longer be limited by fear? What would you do differently if you weren't worried about the next bill, the next rejection, the next not yet? Because that's the level of change we're talking about here. Not just cash. Liberation. Redirection. Full alignment. And Leo, you were born for this kind of spotlight. Not the kind that feeds the ego, but the kind that lights the way for others. Now, before we go deeper, I want to say something from the heart. Thank you for being here. Your support, every like, every comment, every subscribe means the world to this community. It keeps messages like this alive. And if something I've said already resonates with you, please take a moment to comment below and write 888 I receive. Not just to support the channel, but to anchor the energy of this divine shift into your life. You're not here by accident. And trust me, you're going to want to stay until the very end, because what the universe is revealing today is unlike anything you've seen before. So sit with me for a little while longer, and let's talk about what's already unfolding for you on levels both seen and unseen. Let's begin. What's coming to you now, Leo, isn't luck dressed up as timing. It's not a random windfall that just happened to stumble into your life. No, what's approaching is far more intentional, far more aligned. It's a return, a resolution, a reckoning. What you're about to receive is the universe honoring your ledger, not of money, but of integrity, endurance, and quiet strength. This isn't magic. It's law, energetic law. What's unfolding now is a kind of cosmic justice, a balancing of unseen scales that have long tilted against you, even as you stood tall and refused to let the weight break you. You see, life has a strange way of measuring value. Out in the world, success is tracked by numbers, income, status, applause. But the universe? The universe uses different markers entirely. It counts what no one else sees: the tears you wiped away when no one came to comfort you, the days you chose kindness when bitterness would have been easier, the moments you showed up for others with nothing left for yourself. These acts didn't vanish. They were recorded not in spreadsheets, but in soul prints. And they're now coming back around, not as reward for good behavior, but as repayment for emotional labor the world never acknowledged. That's what makes this moment so powerful. The energy that's about to flood into your life is not a fluke, it's fulfillment. It's the final step in a cycle that began when you first chose to believe in something better, even when everything around you said otherwise. It's not just about receiving money. It's about receiving validation, receiving proof that your resilience meant something. And it's coming right on time. Astrologically, this couldn't be more aligned. Right now, the sun, your ruling force, the essence of your identity, is forming a harmonious trine with Saturn, the planet of structure, discipline, and delayed reward. This isn't a casual alignment. It's a signal. It says, those who kept walking through the long night are finally reaching the dawn. Saturn doesn't reward quickly, but when it does, it rewards with substance, with things that last. When the sun and Saturn shake hands in the sky, it means you're being recognized not just for what you've achieved, but for who you've become through everything you've endured. And this is key. Because you haven't just survived hard times, you've been reshaped by them. You've developed a kind of wisdom that can't be taught in books, a kind of softness that's been earned through scars. That's the kind of wealth the universe responds to. That's the kind of value that activates what many call miracles, but what I believe are simply long overdue transfers of energy. I want to be honest with you. There were seasons where it looked like nothing was happening. Where you poured out your efforts, your faith, your love, and nothing came back. Where doors closed again and again, and you started to wonder if maybe this whole idea of divine timing was just spiritual poetry. But those seasons weren't empty. They were sacred. You were never being ignored. You were being prepared. You weren't being punished with delay. You were being protected from premature exposure. You are being matured in the fire so that what you receive now, you can hold, sustain, and multiply. You're not just stepping into abundance. You're stepping into authority. Because what's being released to you isn't just for your comfort, it's for your calling. You've been assigned a new level of influence, and that influence comes with resources. And these resources, they don't make you important. They reflect that you've always been. So don't shrink when this blessing arrives. Don't second guess its size, its source, or its timing. It's not too good to be true. It's too aligned to be denied. And when it comes in that check, that email, that opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere, I want you to remember this. You didn't earn it through hustle. You received it through growth. You held the line. And now, the line is holding you. There's a moment that arrives before the breakthrough, a moment that's easy to miss unless you know what to look for. It's that soft, unexplainable calm that washes over you out of nowhere. You're still staring at the same bills. Nothing has hit your inbox. The numbers haven't changed. But something inside you feels settled. You sleep a little deeper. Your chest doesn't tighten when you think about rent. That small panic that usually lives just under the surface. Quiet. Not gone, but not screaming either. If that's been happening lately, you're not imagining it, you're aligning with something real. The energy of change, of divine compensation, is arriving before the evidence does. And that's always how it works. See, Leo, money is never just money. It's energy that reflects where you are in your relationship with self-worth, receptivity, and trust. And what you're stepping into now isn't simply about having more cash. It's about experiencing physical confirmation of the value you've always carried. Value that the outside world has failed to mirror back, time and time again. There's a line I often come back to when explaining this part of the journey. Money is the ink the universe uses to write your story into the material world. It's not the author. It's not the plot. But it's the print, the evidence. So when financial energy starts shifting in your favor, it's not because you've finally become worthy. It's because the universe has caught up to what your soul already knows. This is what makes the timing of it all so important. Right now, we're under the influence of a rare and powerful trine between the Sun, your cosmic ruler, and Saturn, the planet of karmic rewards and earned stability. This is not the kind of transit that brings quick wins or reckless opportunities. This is the moment where things that have been held back for your protection are finally released because you're ready to hold them. Ready to carry the weight and the freedom that abundance brings. And here's where many people get tripped up. They feel the shift, they sense the peace, and then old fears creep in. The old programming says, "This is too good to be true." Or, "You probably don't deserve this." Those thoughts? They're not wisdom. They're ghosts from the debt matrix, a belief system rooted in scarcity and struggle. It's the echo of a life you're already walking out of. Recognizing that inner resistance is part of the healing. You don't have to fight it. You just don't have to obey it anymore. What the cards are showing us right now, specifically the Star and the Ace of Pentacles, isn't just a random good omen. It's a combination that tells a very specific story. The Star speaks of hope after hardship. It's the moment of looking up after being down for too long. It reminds you that you were never abandoned, just waiting for the storm to pass. And the Ace of Pentacles? That's the seed. The tangible beginning of something real. Not an illusion. Not a fantasy. But a door you can walk through, a check you can cash, an offer you can finally say yes to. Together, these cards tell us, the promise is becoming provision. And so, if you've recently felt that subtle shift, the quiet calm before something new, I want you to know, you're not alone in it. And it's not random. Something is being activated. A new chapter, grounded not in fear, but in readiness. If you felt that lightness, even for a moment, share it. Say it out loud. Type it below. Let the words, "I receive," be your signal to yourself and to whatever force has been watching you all this time that you're ready now, not just to wish, but to witness. This is the part where energy becomes form. Let it in. Sometimes, the biggest shifts in our lives come from the most unexpected places. And what's heading toward you right now, Leo, is exactly that, unexpected. Not because you didn't deserve it, but because the world taught you to expect very little. To play it safe. To not get your hopes up. So when something large, generous, and completely out of the blue begins moving in your direction, it can stir up more disbelief than joy. But let's pause for a moment and reframe the narrative. What if this isn't unexpected at all? What if it's been yours all along, quietly making its way toward you, waiting for the exact energetic alignment to arrive? This financial blessing, and let's be honest, that's what it is, isn't coming from a promotion you fought for, a business you built brick by brick, or an investment you calculated to perfection. In fact, it might come from places you never imagined, a tax refund you gave up on, an inheritance from someone you barely knew, a long-forgotten payment finally processed, or a clerical error that somehow lands in your favor. The channel won't make sense, and that's the point. This isn't the system rewarding you. This is the universe bypassing the system to reach you directly. Why? Because the old system would never have approved you. It doesn't operate on energy. It doesn't measure generosity of spirit, or late-night prayers, or how many times you encouraged others while silently falling apart yourself. The system doesn't recognize spiritual equity, only social metrics. But the universe? The universe has been watching your heart, not your credit score. It knows what you've been through. It knows how many times you kept going when no one would have blamed you for giving up. And now, it's answering in the only language it knows, abundance without condition. Here's the tricky part, receiving something like this can trigger doubt. Deep, old doubt. The kind rooted in years of hearing, "You're not enough," or "You didn't earn this." So don't be surprised if your first reaction isn't excitement but anxiety. Don't be alarmed if you find yourself double-checking your bank app like it's going to disappear. That reaction isn't about the money, it's about the old program waking up one last time. The one that told you blessings have to be justified, explained, or minimized. And you know what? You don't have to play that game anymore. You don't need to prove why you're allowed to receive something good. You already have. The evidence is in your endurance. In the fact that you're still here breathing, healing, hoping, even when you had every reason not to. That alone is proof of your worthiness. The universe isn't paying you back for your perfection. It's returning what you were always meant to have before the world convinced you otherwise. So let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt that tight grip in your chest just opening your banking app? Ever hesitated before checking your balance because you already expected the worst? Ever avoided asking for help, or applying for a loan, because some part of you believed you didn't qualify, not just financially, but spiritually? If that hits home, I want you to say it out loud. Say, "I've been there. But I'm not staying there." Better yet, comment below, "I've overcome it." That small act of claiming your shift isn't just for you, it's for every version of you that once believed they weren't worthy of peace. This isn't about money. It never really is. It's about rewriting the narrative of how things come to you. It's about showing you that divine timing doesn't run on logic, it runs on truth. And the truth is, you were never behind. You were being prepared. And now that you're ready, what's always been yours is finally finding its way back. No detours. No conditions. Just a long overdue yes. If you've ever seen someone receive a sudden financial blessing and then slowly unravel under the weight of it, you'll understand why this next part matters so much. It's not just about what comes to you, it's about what you do with it. Because when life hands you a breakthrough, especially one that seems to fall into your lap after years of scraping by, the temptation to escape, to disappear into comfort, indulgence, or control is real. And I don't say that from judgment. I say it from watching it happen, over and over again. People who were once grounded by purpose and humility become consumed by the very thing they thought would free them. They start chasing the feeling, not the meaning. And that's where the soul gets lost. But here's the truth: money was never supposed to be the destination. It's a vehicle, a bridge, a mirror. It reflects your relationship with trust, responsibility, and alignment. It doesn't define your worth, it reveals how ready you are to activate it. That's why this moment in your journey is so sacred, Leo. Because you're not being handed a winning ticket to run away from the world. You're being resourced to step deeper into it with more clarity, more power, and more freedom than ever before. I've seen this play out astrologically, especially for Leo, whose cosmic assignment is always tied to leadership through the heart. Your light isn't for hiding. It's for guiding. And right now, with the sun in harmonious contact with Saturn, and the moon activating your intuitive creativity, you're being positioned not just to receive, but to lead with what you've received. That means being deliberate. That means choosing not to let money tell you who you are, but instead letting who you are decide where the money goes. Start simple. Before you celebrate, give thanks and give back. Maybe it's a small donation to the community space that held you when you were struggling. Maybe it's paying forward an opportunity to someone who's still in the waiting season you just left. That isn't charity. It's circulation. It's acknowledging that what flows in must also be allowed to flow through. And then, take a breath. Don't rush into spending just to prove to yourself or anyone else that you've made it. This isn't about catching up with what others have. It's about aligning with what your soul is here to do. So pause. Sit with your values. Get clear on what matters most. Make a plan that connects your new resources to your deeper mission. Whether it's starting a wellness business, launching an art project, creating jobs in a more conscious way, ask yourself, how can this abundance serve not just my comfort, but my calling? One of the most effective self-guidance tools I share with clients is what I call the intentional money map. It's a simple practice. Divide your income into purpose-driven categories, not just bills and savings, but things like creativity, community, healing, growth. When your money knows where it's going, it begins to flow with direction. And that flow, in turn, creates sustainability. Abundance multiplies when it's sent where it belongs. You can even amplify this energetic shift by tuning into the frequencies around you. Color is a powerful tool for anchoring energy. On October 21st, I recommend wearing gold or purple: gold for divine confidence and solar power, purple for spiritual clarity and elevated purpose. These aren't just pretty shades. They're vibrational cues that remind your nervous system what you're here to embody. So as you step into this new chapter, remember, you weren't chosen to escape. You were chosen to illuminate. And the money that's coming isn't a way out. It's the way forward. Let it move through you with wisdom, humility, and intention. That's how you make sure it grows not just in your account, but in your legacy. When a door this powerful opens, it doesn't just swing on its hinges and close quietly behind you. No, Leo, this door stays open. Because what you're stepping into now isn't a one-time miracle, a fleeting moment of good luck, or a cosmic fluke. It's the beginning of a new energetic reality. One where your past no longer defines your future. One where every step you take now is no longer reactive but intentional, aligned, and supported. You're not just being blessed with something temporary, you're being initiated into a life of flow, purpose, and trust. Everything you've moved through, the fear, the waiting, the self-doubt, has shaped the version of you who can hold this new frequency. That's what this season is about. Not just having more, but becoming more. You may already feel it on the inside, the quiet strength, the steady breath, the sense that you no longer have to chase what once ran from you. That calm? It's real. It's your nervous system adjusting to a life where survival isn't your default setting anymore. And trust me, that shift isn't just about money. When an energetic upgrade of this magnitude arrives, it touches everything. Your body begins to relax in ways it forgot how to. That tightness in your chest? It starts to loosen. Sleep becomes deeper. You stop flinching at small uncertainties. Emotionally, you find yourself less reactive, more grounded. Relationships begin to shift, either deepening or naturally drifting away, depending on whether they match the new rhythm you're walking in. Even your confidence begins to return, not from arrogance, but from a felt sense that you're no longer pretending to be okay, you actually are. And astrologically, this timing couldn't be more potent. With the moon moving through Pisces, your intuitive channel is wide open. Over the next 3 days, your dreams may hold deeper meaning than usual. Pay attention to symbols, to colors, to unexpected memories rising to the surface. Write them down. Don't try to figure it out in the moment. Just witness what's surfacing. It's likely your subconscious is clearing old contracts, outdated beliefs, and wounds that no longer belong to the version of you stepping through this portal. Numerologically, the energy of the number 8 is weaving through all of this. And if you've been seeing 8s lately on clocks, receipts, license plates, it's not random. 8 is the number of infinity, abundance, and karmic return. It's the universe's way of saying, what you give, with clarity and trust, returns to you multiplied. This isn't just about financial gain. It's about entering a loop of sacred reciprocity, where your generosity becomes your greatest wealth. So this is the moment, Leo. The point where you stop waiting to be chosen and realize you already were. The point where you stop asking for permission and begin giving yourself full access to everything you've earned spiritually, emotionally, energetically. This doesn't mean life will be perfect. But it does mean you'll walk with the kind of faith that doesn't require external validation to keep going. You'll begin to speak less from fear and more from clarity. And the world around you will respond, not always with applause, but with alignment. And that's what this is really about. Alignment. Knowing you're in the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing, not because someone told you so, but because you feel it in your bones. And as this new chapter unfolds, I want you to anchor yourself with one simple act. Comment below and write, 888, I claim my divine payment. Not because you need to prove anything, but because energy responds to intention. Your words are not just for this video, they're in agreement with the new you who's already walking through the open door. This isn't just your turn. It's your time. And this time, the door isn't closing. You don't need to explain why you're finally receiving what's been reaching for you all along. You don't have to justify this breakthrough, minimize it to make others comfortable, or second-guess whether you've earned it. What's coming into your life now doesn't require your apology. It simply asks for your openness. Because Leo, this was never about approval, this was about alignment. And you've done the work. Quietly. Faithfully. Without recognition. And now? You get to step forward, not as someone seeking permission to receive, but as someone who finally understands they were the permission all along. This is what I want you to hold on to. You are not just the recipient of this abundance. You are a vessel for it. A living treasury of wisdom, experience, light. What you've endured hasn't hardened you, it's made you deeper, softer, clearer. That clarity is a currency all its own. And what you do with this new flow of energy, this new chapter, is what truly determines its value. So move forward not with fear, but with quiet power. With purpose, not pressure. And remember, you are not just here to receive the blessing. You are here to ripple it outward. Maybe this is the moment you begin building what once felt impossible. Maybe this is the season you use what you've been given to help others unlock what's been hidden in them. Or maybe, this is simply the chapter where you start breathing again deeply, fully, without financial fear wrapping around your ribcage. Whatever this means for you personally, let it be honest. Let it be rooted in who you've become. Because that's the version of you that this gift was always meant for. And now, I want to ask you something. What will you do differently, knowing that you don't have to chase what's already yours? How will you move, love, lead, create when you no longer see lack as your teacher, but as the season you've completed? Sit with that. Let it stir something in you. If you feel this shift, even if it's just a quiet whisper right now, I want you to anchor it. Comment below with 888 I receive fully. Not just for me, not for the algorithm, but for your own energetic agreement. For the version of you that's ready to rise, not just once, but again and again, now fully resourced. Thank you truly for being here with me today. Every like, every comment, every share is a ripple of light. And every soul that finds its way to eternal mindfulness helps us grow this community of clarity, healing, and divine remembrance. If this message reached your heart, I'd love for you to subscribe and stay connected. Because what's unfolding in your life? This is just the beginning. So take a deep breath, hold your head high, and smile. You don't need to be accepted. You only need to receive.